Hello and welcome to Miss Charlotte Astrology. My name is Charlotte. I'm a full-time working astrologer, and on this channel I analyze the astrological charts of public figures, and very often they are celebrities, and they normally come in the form of actors, artists, musicians, politicians, business people, the occasional criminal. But today I'll be analyzing the chart of a very famous pop singer by the name of Lily Allen, who's just recently put out an album. It's called West End Girl, and it details the end of her very tumultuous marriage with an actor called David Harbour, who I just covered in a previous reading. So yeah, there's a lot going on with her. This album was very revealing. It's getting rave reviews. I certainly enjoyed it. It's great, but it came from such a devastating loss. And she has gone through a lot in her life. I do know that she had a very devastating miscarriage. I know she had a stillborn baby quite a few years ago. She's had a couple of marriages that haven't worked out. I mean, she's written a couple of books about it. I haven't read them, but she's detailed affairs, and her life has been a little bit chaotic, to say the least, and it continues to be, but she makes great art from it. So I hope you guys enjoy this reading. We just want to really understand who she is, what she's about, and potentially what could happen with all these transits moving around. Her career's on the up. It's kind of like what Nicole Kidman's going through. Like, her marriage broke down, and then she created a beautiful piece of art, and she might win awards for it. So yeah, one part of your life goes crap, the other part of your life goes really well. So I'm going to have a look at that. Before I dive in, I just want you guys to know, if you'd like to support me, you would like a reading of your own, you can meet me in the Zoom room. I've got 60-minute readings, I've got 30-minute readings, which are recorded. So we meet, we chat, I record the session, and then we email it to you. So you can sit back, relax, and enjoy the reading. I don't like when people take notes or anything. I just want you to have the recording forever. And then if you can't make a reading, or you're just a bit nervous with the Zoom room, I do have MP3 readings, which is just a recording of my voice analyzing your chart. So you can book all of these in the link below. You can add booking notes as well, in case there's something specific that you would want. I'm also offering pretty generous discounts for people that are members of my YouTube. So if you would like to book a reading, you would like a really generous discount, you can become a member, and there's lots of extra content on there for you. Also, I'm doing I'm holding a retreat next year in September. It's going to be in Italy or Greece. We're just finalizing numbers. So if you would like to come along, and you would like to meet other astro nerdy people and you would like to look at beautiful art and learn about astrology, please come along. Even if it's just a thought in your head, please click the link to the to Trova Trips survey, and that would be your expression of interest. So I'll see you in the Zoom room, I'll see you in the retreat, I'll see you in the MP3, maybe even all of those. Thank you so much for your support. All right, so let's dive into Lily Allen's astrological chart. So as you can see here, she is a sun in Taurus with a North Node. Her destiny is to choose herself. And then she's got a Venus, Mercury, that is in a conjunction, and Lilith is not far away. So Lilith, even though it's not in conjunction with these planets, it is impacting this whole Aries stellium. And I'm going to do a synastry with her and David and talk about this, because he's got a lot of Aries. She has a Mars in Gemini with Chiron in a conjunction, so that's interesting. And yes, she has a Libra. She has a Libra moon. Yeah, there we go. All right, where should I start? Let's talk about, let's talk about the past. Let's start off way back when. South Node represents what you're familiar with. The South Node is where you have come from. Now, that is in Scorpio, which is a sign associated with marriage and shared resources. It's the merging of an amalgamation of body and soul. It is truly the most intimate of signs. It's very deep, Plutonian, Martian, all of that. Now, it lies in a conjunction with Saturn. Now, I don't know what house this is in, and there's also Pluto here as well. I don't know what house this is in. And if you are born in 84, 85, you do have this. She's accustomed to being handcuffed to people. And this might have something to do with her family. I mean, I heard she's a Nepo baby. I've never heard of her family before, but she might have very well-off family. I mean, people with this, I'm sure there are people with this placement that have been born into poverty, don't get me wrong. But the South Node in Scorpio with Saturn is about being chained to someone that you feel indebted to. And very often, that is one's family. And that plays out in other situations if you haven't healed, if you haven't learned to break the shackles. And it's hard when you have Saturn on the South Node because Saturn always calls you back repeatedly in your life. Even if you shake the chains and you manage to move forward and get into your North Node, Saturn calls you back because it's a karmic planet. There will be times where you're going to have to visit home for that funeral, or you're going to have to, manage the estate of someone that has passed away that you haven't spoken to in years and years because they were a family member. Or you're gonna have situations where you're gonna be called back to your South Node. So she comes from a situation where the family dynamic is quite difficult, I think. Prince Harry has this as well. Keep that in mind, and he's gonna be called back for the rest of his life. Saturn does that. Doesn't mean you can't move forward and get into your North Node. You very much can do that, but just keep that in mind, that Saturn calls you back. And she has been married before, and I think she's got this idea that she needs to merge herself, body and soul, in a marriage. Hopefully she can get over that and actually get into her North Node. Her nodal return's been done for quite a while. This is her destiny. North Node with the Sun. You're it. And here's the thing with some of you, because if you've got a South Node that's in a bit of a codependent sign, a codependent house, whatever, like you're like, I need to be married. I need to be married. Do you really? Because let me tell you, sometimes being on your own is the happy ending. Being with someone very often is not the happy ending. It can just be an ending with someone who's terrible. If your North Node is with the Sun, you have to choose yourself, even if it hurts. Get out of the South Node in Scorpio. Go to the North Node in Taurus, which is about the things that you earn. The South Node in Scorpio is not about things that you earn. It's things that are shared. Everything that is yours belongs to someone else and vice versa. You can't hold on to things that are yours in this house. They're shared items. North Node and Taurus, that's your money. Those are your belongings. You earned it. With the Sun, it's of your own making, from your own creative force, and no one can take that away from you. And that's the thing that Lily has to learn. She don't have to get married again. If she was my client, I'd be like, Lily, like you've been married like what, 2-3 times? How's that work for you? Being alone is the happy ending. But why don't end up with someone? Yes, that just may be the point. By the way, if you got a North Node with Sun in Taurus and you have this placement, it does not mean you're going to be alone forever. Calm down. I'm just saying you got to learn how to be. You have to be okay with that. Because let's just say you do marry someone. That someone may die. If it's not you, it's them, and then you're going to be left alone anyway. Get it together. Make your money. Be good at the end of this, like at the end of the world, in this apocalypse. Be competent. Be competent. Oh my God. Anyway, that's some harsh truth. Let's move to this Mars and Chiron conjunction. Wounded sex. Mars is the phallus. It is your will. It is your drive. It is the fire in your belly. She has it in Gemini, so she's incredibly experimental. It's a bit of an ADHD Mars. She loves to explore. She loves all the nooks and crannies. She wants to try every flavor, color, texture. Like, she's very curious. She's a very wide palette for things, sexually and otherwise. Now, if she's got Mars with Chiron, that's a wounded phallus. Still experimental, still wants to try things. But because the Chiron is there, if she's been somehow sexually wounded, sex may take on, in her mind, like some kind of medicinal property. Maybe sex can heal her. Maybe, but then, I mean, any medicine can turn into an addictive substance, right? Look at opioids. They're meant to be helping people, but then they get addicted. It's like that. You can find something that you think is helping you, and yes, it can start off that way. It can heal you, but it can turn into an addiction and become incredibly destructive. Has sex been destructive in Lily Allen's life? And I'm sure if you read your book and you watch the Jonathan Ross show, you know that is true. You know? So this is messy sex, it's wounded sex. She's very destructive with sex. Or she has been, at least. Hopefully she's worked through it. It has some nice aspects. So she has some control. Yeah, she has some control over this. Let's move to her Aries I mean, I'm going to count it as a stellium. I know I shouldn't. It's just 2 planets and it's 2 other bodies, but anyway. You know, but we're gonna count it. It's 4 bodies in a sign. She's got an Aries Venus. I mean, she gets bored very quickly. I mean, I don't want to just paint an Aries Venus as a cheetah Venus, but if I was gonna pick cheetah Venuses, that's one of them. It Aries Venuses, they can get bored real quickly. They need fire to burn. They need oxygen. They need wind to blow. You know what I mean? And she gets bored very, very quickly. She didn't get bored with David Arbor because he was always throwing her a curve. David Arbor is not a boring man. He's not a settled man. And that's why she was so hung up on him. If she ended up with a more settled personality that was nice and stable, she would get bored and she may cheat. And she hath, darling. She has done that. I think with the Venus and Mercury in a conjunction, there's not a tri-conjunction, but it is a conjunction, she can get blinded by beauty very quickly. Like, I know that David Arbor, a lot of women consider him kind of like a medium ugly guy, but he's tall. Like, I mean, I saw him in those interviews and I could spot how fake he was and what a narcissist he was. But he would get me. Like, he's very, very charming. Venus and Mercury in a conjunction very close together, they can be blinded by beauty. They can be, well, if it's not beauty, it certainly is height. I mean, he's 6'5". That's beautiful to me and her as well. She can be she's in awe of that. She's in awe of beauty. She can be blinded by it, or at least something that she perceives as beauty. She's also very attracted to kind of like that hyper masculine, kind of rebellious bad boy kind of thing. I can see her liking that. Yeah. Now, Lilith is not far away. Not in a conjunction, but it is there. So it very much influences how she loves. That's some destructive love. And by the way, if you have Lilith with your Venus, I don't want to suggest that you can't find healthy love. I'm not suggesting that. It just may be a little bit of a challenge. You're going to have to work through some things. She has been in some very destructive relationships. Venus is the goddess of abortion and divorce. She is self-destructive. I mean, we love her. There's a reason why. And by the way, there's a reason why she left the Garden of Eden, okay? There is a reason. And we absolutely want that for her. But when you have Lilith in a conjunction with like a romantic planet, a social planet, you're going to come across trouble in your relationships, you know, and you can work through them, but it is there. Bored, too curious for her own good. I think if she were with someone who was nice and stable and regular schmegular, she would be deeply unhappy with that and cause all sorts of destructive mess. But she ended up with David Arbor, and maybe that's the reason why she was with him for so long. Because she met her match. I did briefly read a story about Lily Allen and one of her husbands, and she cheated on him with sex workers. Tell that story. The Jonathan Ross show was really interesting. She talks about it on the Jonathan Ross show. I think she also put it in a book. And she thought that because the sex workers were women, that it didn't count as cheating, which is really, really interesting. So she's got some very interesting, some would say skewed perception of infidelity, loyalty, all those things. And Lilith Lilith is with Venus, which is the planet of values. She has maybe some very topsy-turvy skewed values that you may perceive it that way, you know. I'm also not surprised with her relationship with David Arbor that it was open. I'm not surprised with that. And she said in the one song, if it was just sex, I wouldn't have been jealous, but it was an emotional affair layered with the sex that made it different. Interesting. She has a pretty destructive, she ends up in these relationships with pretty destructive dynamics. Anyway, that's Lilith for you. Yeah. A Libra moon. Oh, Libra moon opposite all these Aries planets. She's very cooperative, too cooperative for her own good. And I'm a Libra moon myself. Despite all the Aries placements, she was willing to cooperate. I wonder if he was the one that brought that forward and was like, hey, let's do an open relationship, and wanting to be accepted by him, wanting to keep some kind of equilibrium, keep calm in the household. She folded and she negotiated and she just thought, okay, I'm going to do exactly as you say, and we're going to have all these rules and we're going to make it fair. And yeah, in the end, it didn't work. The people pleasing didn't work. She ended up people pleasing and at detriment to herself. That Venus opposite. When the moon and Venus are opposed, there's a contradiction between values and attraction and emotional needs. And she neglected her emotional needs a lot. There's this one part of her that, you know, with the Libra moon, she wants to be in a very lovely household where they have, you know, they are equally in love with each other, and, you know, it's very pleasant and mutual, like it's very mutual and reciprocal in the domestic sphere. And then with this Aries Venus, Aries Mercury, she's also attracted to very Martian dynamics where there is a lot of fighting, or there is, you know, there like and boredom. You know, you could perceive Aries placements could perceive Libra equilibrium as boring, you know. So she's ping-ponging back and forth between these two energies all the time, and it's just creating chaos in her interpersonal relationships. The moon and Venus are the most feminine planets. If they're not getting along in the chart, that's difficult. You know, what you desire and what you want in your romantic relationships is very different from what you need in your domestic sphere. And with David, you could see that contradiction playing out, right? I would love to have her rising sign. We don't have it here. If we get it, I'm happy to amend the chart and redo it. But yes, we'll see what happens with this Saturn transit. I think that she's going to do very, very well. I think she's in for a hard time. I think David Arbor. And I'm not a false prophet, okay? I don't want to make these predictions because I want everybody to be healthy and happy and treat each other well. But Saturn comes for you. And it's coming for David Arbor. It's coming for her too, although I do think that she's going to do very well during this period. Like, people, when Saturn's going through your placements, you are likely to gain a lot of success. If you've behaved badly, though, it might be a very public downfall. She's on the way up. David's on the way down. And this is going to play out very publicly. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, guys, that was my reading for Lily Allen. Let me know what's your favorite song on the new album. I really, really like Palace. I do enjoy that. Very good. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you in the next video. I'll have the synastry up soon. Bye.